Nikki Haley is with us. She's a former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, former South Carolina governor, and founder for Stand for America. And there was a problem with the Attorney General's office in New York with Stand for America. They accidentally leaked some documents. Nikki is here to tell us all about it. Hello, Nikki. How are you?
Hey, Glenn. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. You bet. So tell me what happened.
Basically, we have a policy organization that we go out, we send out newsletters every day to over 3 million people. We talk about anything from the fact that it's wrong to make someone who doesn't go to college pay for someone that does go to college. It's, that we need term limits, that we can't $30 trillion in debt is a problem, and spending more is not going to help the inflation situation. Why men shouldn't be playing in girls' sports. We talk about all kinds of things. We hit Biden, we hit Pelosi, we hit Gavin Newsom, we hit anyone that has liberal policies, and we talk about conservative solutions. So we've had this for about 3 years. It's called Stand for America. And all of a sudden we get contacted by a news organization that says, we have a copy of your tax return, which is supposed to be completely confidential, just like personal tax returns are. And we're going to release all of your donors off of it. Well, we said, okay, send us the copy that you say you have. And we look at it, and on the last page, it's stamped by the New York State Attorney General's office. The New York State Attorney General released this tax return to try and intimidate conservatives. And Glenn, they have done this. I have said this for as long as I can remember. Republicans are too nice. They're too nice. When something like this happens, they whine, they complain, and then they turn around and it happens to someone else. Well, we are not going to do that. We are suing the New York State Attorney General's office. We are calling on Merrick Garland to investigate the New York State Attorney General's office. And we're going to make sure we fight back. It's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be easy. But if we don't do it, at some point this has to stop. And I hope that every conservative listening today will join us in that fight and go to standforamerica.com and let's say no more. Let's show them that when you mess with us, you've messed with the wrong person.
Are you going to sue Politico? Because Politico was the one that released the names, correct?
Yes, so that is also something that we're looking at. They've obviously said, these are First Amendment rights, but we are also looking at what it's going to take to sue Politico. We're going to sue, we're definitely New York State Attorney General, definitely going after Merrick Garland to have to answer for this. We are looking at suing Documented, who is the one who got the information from the New York State Attorney General and gave it to Politico, and we're looking at what we're going to do to Politico. We're looking at every actor that put their hands on this.
I mean, they would never, ever publish the dark money network of Arabella Advisors. Never. And there's so much money running through that dark network. Democracy Alliance, they would never even think about doing this. They're only doing it.
ACLU, Planned Parenthood, none of those.
None of
those have ever been leaked.
Right. And
yet they have gone after President Trump. They have gone after the NRA. They've gone after pro-life groups. And now they're going after us. Anyone that is a thorn in their side, they turn around and think they can intimidate us just by doing something like this. It takes a lot more than that to intimidate us.
So let me ask you, Nikki, do you think the intimidation will work to some degree? I haven't met them yet, but are there people who are saying, you know what, I'm not going to get involved. I don't want my name on a list.
We have Stand for America PAC, which is a political organization. We have hundreds of thousands of donors, and we publicize all of those because political organizations, by law, you do that. Policy organizations, typically donors, they care about policy. They just don't want to get into the political mess. And so this was a way of trying to do that. We contacted every donor before this happened to let them know, and every one of them said, we support you. We appreciate what you're doing. You go out there and fight. And so, I was very proud of, how our donors handled this. And it's not about the donors themselves. It's about the fact they don't want us talking about what's right. They don't want us calling out the truth, and they don't want us to expose them for what they really are, which is running our country in the ground.
Well, I hope you make progress in this lawsuit. This is so dangerous. It is Honestly, they have weaponized the government in states where they control, and they've weaponized the federal government. And they think that somehow or another that's going to help them win. I don't think so. I think this wakes America up.
Well, and keep in mind, this is a violation of state tax law and a violation of federal tax law. So if nothing is done to them for this, where will they go next? I mean, at some point, something has to give. And every conservative out there who has complained about the Biden administration, complained about these liberal attorney generals who are getting involved in things to hurt conservatives, everyone, don't complain about it. Do something about it. We need you to go to standforamerica.com. We need your voices to be loud, and we need to let them know we are fighting fire with fire. And I think that's something that Republicans have not done well. It is time to turn the corner on that, because if they can do this to us, they can do this to everyone else. And rule of law matters. It matters. And the Democrats have decided they're going to break it anyway if it fits their narrative. We've got to make them be held accountable for this.
I have, this is one of my complaints with the Republicans that are currently in office, and not all of them, obviously, but the people like Mitch McConnell. I don't even know what they're running on. I mean, I think they're just running on, we're not those guys. I think that's what Mitch McConnell's plan is.
Well, and, I'll tell you, if you're tired, you need to leave. That's why I'm such a fan of term limits. But if you're going to represent the people, you have to be willing to do the things that are uncomfortable to do. You have to be willing to go into the fight and say, we're going to fight for freedom. We're going to fight for the rule of law. We're going to fight to get our country back. And we're not going to stop until it happens. And when the Democrats play dirty, guess what? That's politics. You play dirty right back with them.
What do you...
There's a way to do it.
Yeah, legal, fight dirty, legally, fight strong.
Yeah, look, I went up against China and Russia at the United Nations. Wasn't easy. It wasn't always nice. But you do it because you know you're fighting for good. You're fighting for the right thing. You're fighting for truth. You're fighting for a better way. And that's what this is about. Republicans, their policies lift up everyone, not just a small group of people. They lift up everyone. And that's why we fight as hard as we do. Democrats don't like it because, believe it or not, they fight for elitists. They fight for lining their own pockets. They fight in a way that's corrupt just to fit their narrative. And we're calling them out on the fact that they're not doing that. Don't tell me that minorities are incapable of getting an ID to go vote. They're perfectly capable. Yes, we call them out when they're against voter ID. Don't tell me that parents are incapable of picking the school that their children should go to. We call them out when they're against school choice. Don't tell them they're being fair when they're taking, students who people who didn't go to college and telling them, oh, now you have to pay for those that did go to college. It's wrong. It's criminal. And so, yes, we call them out, but we call them out because that's the truth. And that's what I've always done, is fight for the truth. And that's why we're going to fight for it again on this, because we will not be intimidated. We will not be bullied. And every conservative out there, don't complain about it. Do something about it. We all need to be united in this.
Nikki Haley, former ambassador to the UN and governor, and you were a Tea Party candidate, if I'm not mistaken.
I was, yes.
Do you sense this is a wave election like it was with the Tea Party?
I hope so. 3 months ago, I would have told you yes. 4 months ago, I would have told you yes. It feels shaky now. I know we're going to win the House. The Senate is going to be iffy. I'm going to try as hard as I can. I'm out there. We have endorsed 50 candidates. We're going to be all over the country September and October helping these people get over the finish line. But it's going to take all of us to do this. It's really that important. And what I don't want to see, and what we're seeing, is Republicans are, you hear the media saying, oh, but this isn't a good candidate, or that's not a good candidate. You know what? Every one of our Republican candidates is better than the Democrat candidate.
Yes, exactly right.
We have to fight for that.
Exactly
right. We have to fight for them. So we'll be there for Herschel Walker. We're going to be there for Dr. Oz. We're there for Sarah Palin. We're going to continue to be there for all of these conservatives because, honestly, we need their voice.
We do.
We need their fight.
We do.
And I'm going to be there to fight with them.
Nikki, thank you very much. Nikki Haley, she is the founder of Stand for America. You can find more information and join the fight at standforamerica.com.